All right, everybody. After a one-day hiatus, we are back. Okay,
two for you.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But we are back, and we have a lot to talk about today. Actually, there's been a lot of news, a lot of well, not great news, to be honest with you, and that is kind of what we're going to talk about today. We are. I'm excited to be back. Let me just. I just need to preface the show with this. I love this job, and I love talking to everybody, and it's a good thing. It makes it so much better that I get to do it with one of my best friends. Gonna throw that out there.
If you all knew what we talked about right before the show, you'd know why Vince is sucking up.
Never.
We had our first interview for recruiting, the new recruiting position. I had my first interview last night. So I was telling Vince I had an interview last night. He goes, for the recruiting job? I said, no, we're hiring a new football analyst because you keep ticking me off. And so Vince feels the need. He's got to suck up today. But no, Vince, you're not going anywhere, man. But we have a lot to talk about, a lot of recruiting talk. Obviously, with what happened last night with CJ Williams, we're going to talk about, we're talking about signing day, kind of preview signing day, what to expect. And then also how this is really the first test for Marcus Freeman. And I'm I don't love the circumstances around it, but I'm excited that we get a chance to kind of see him. Okay, well, there's been a lot of excitement and energy. I mean, even the national media is giving love to Notre Dame now, right? But look, there's going to be adversity. There's going to be things that come up. You're going to lose a game at some point, right? He's not going to go undefeated for the next 12 years, okay?
Right.
Sure, we would all like for him to win 12 straight national championships, but it's not going to happen, right?
No, it's not.
This isn't De La Salle, okay? He's going to miss
Great
recruits,
movie, by the way.
right? Yeah, he's going to miss recruits. There's going to be staff things that need to, like Saban, like Meyer, like Dabo. He's going to hire someone that doesn't pan out. How does he handle it? So we're going to have to learn all those things over the years with Marcus Freeman, and this is our first chance to learn some about it. So we'll dive into that after we kind of set the stage for sort of what's happened, because I'm sure maybe there are some people who don't know what happened, but we'll just kind of dive into it and what's next and all that type of stuff. So.
Yeah. So obviously, the news of the day is that CJ Williams is officially decommitted. Has he officially done it, or is it?
Yeah, he did it last night. Yeah.
Okay. So he has decommitted from Notre Dame, from the 22 recruiting class. It is expected that he is going to sign with USC. Again, this is not completely unexpected. This was in motion before Brian Kelly announced that he was leaving. Right. Look, CJ Williams was planning an official visit to USC when they didn't even have a coach.
Well, and it looked like Notre Dame had him back in the fold. I mean, as of Friday, I was being told that the staff felt that they had got him back in. It was all good. He was still going to take a visit to USC on Sunday, but they felt they had a good deal. And then from there to Sunday, it was done.
Yeah, it was weird.
He's out of the class. So clearly he was looking for a reason to go to USC because Notre Dame gave him one. And it's just another example of just the mismanagement at the receiver position. It was, and here's the issue that I have, right? Look, CJ is a really good player, right? You all know this. This isn't the show where when a kid decommits, he suddenly loses 50 spots in his recruiting ranking, right?
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, oh, he's not that good. This isn't the show for that. We're real here. I loved CJ when I thought he was going to commit to Notre Dame, and I still love CJ as a player now that I think he's going to USC, right? So we're not going to play that game, right? But it was one of those things where you love him as a player, but like you said, Vince, he's visited USC how many times during the season?
Right, a bunch.
Amorin Walker's visited Michigan how many times? Mississippi State. And they have just continued to, because then CJ and Amorin keep telling the staff, it's all good, I'm still committed. And this whole time that he kept taking visit after visit, and we kept being told, he said it's all good, everything's fine. Look what happened. The fact that they didn't say, hey, look, yes, he's telling us one thing, but his actions are doing this. We've got to make sure that we're protecting ourselves and we're expanding our board and going out and recruiting other receivers. So we're going to find out here tomorrow, as of tomorrow, if they actually did that or not.
Right.
There is a chance, and again, this is just speculation based on how recruiting works, not a specific. I'm not saying something that I can't tell you, so I'm hinting about it. So if it happens, I look good. That's not what I'm doing here. I'm telling you, like, just I'm just telling you like how recruiting works. Maybe there's a kid that they've been working on,
right,
that they all of a sudden try to flip from somewhere, right? And they can do it by tomorrow. Or there's going to be some kids that they're going to have to say, hey, look, don't sign tomorrow. We want to get you on campus, right? Maybe you're able to do that, but you got to scramble around and do that. But the fact that they just kind of just took those kids at their word and didn't kind of have another plan is problematic.
yeah,
And again, it's a continuation of what's been a problem at the position. You've had, you've missed on recruits in the past you shouldn't have missed on. Still got some good players, partly because of the work of your last two offensive coordinators, Chip Long before him, and now Tommy Rees. And part of it to a degree is Dell, but then you've lost 5 players from your roster. First of all, 2 guys graduated, Javon McKinley and Ben Skoranek. Then you lost 5 more players to transfer. Some of them, Micah Jones, that was a mutual separation, right? But there's a lot of other kids, boy, you really would have loved to have seen what a Kendall Abdur-Rahman could do and get developed. Now, would he have helped this year? Not until after the injuries, but he's a kid that, you keep coaching and you see what he can do. You lost Jordan Johnson, you lost Jay Brunell, Xavier Watts moves to defense, and that relationship had been completely fractured between him and Dell Alexander. And you say, why do these things continue to happen at one position?
Exactly.
And so this is the first test of Marcus Freeman to say, hey, no, how are you going to handle this, right? Like, are you going to bring him back? Because here's the thing we have always said about Dell. I have never been overly kind to Dell as a coach and our evaluation of him as a coach. I don't think he's a very good receivers coach, and I don't think he's a very good recruiter. But everything we have ever heard, Vince, and you've had more firsthand experience with Dell than I have, is first-class guy, right? Really good dude. Everybody likes him. But that's not that's not why you get hired and fired, right? You get hired and fired based on your results.
Because look, if that was the case, then Coach Quinn would still be on the staff too. Because he's a great guy.
Booker would still be coaching tight ends and
absolutely all of those things. No question about it. No question. Yeah, I agree with you. I've dealt with Coach Alexander from a football standpoint before, and I've also dealt with him at one of my previous employers from a customer service standpoint. And he's awesome. He's a really, really nice guy. So,
and I've talked to people who have met him at because he goes to his kids, play rec league basketball. His kids are kind of still relatively young, right? Like,
I believe so.
Elementary, middle school type. And people have run into him at basketball, for his kids. And just everyone that you ever meets him's like, man, just what a nice guy.
Yes.
And that's
my son and his son played together at one point in like a rec league thing. And it's great. It's a nice, really nice guy.
And so it's one of those things where I don't love the fact that I'm hammering him, but that's my job because he's not doing his job, in my opinion. And so, but what's Marcus Freeman going to do? Right. And that's the question. How is he going to handle this?
And that's huge right now.
Right. That's right. So we'll find all those answers out. And then, but also from a practical standpoint, what does the staff do now? That unless they've been on guys for a while, the odds of them flipping someone by tomorrow are not great. But we'll find that out, right? Because we'll start to hear something leak later tonight about maybe a kid looking at Notre Dame. We'll start to hear stuff later tonight if that's going to happen. Most likely what the staff needs to just be doing from now until tomorrow when kids start to sign is talk to the kids you like, talk to the Nicholas Andersons, talk to the kids that you would be interested in and say, hey, listen, don't sign tomorrow. Right. You don't have to sign tomorrow. There's another period in February. If they want you that bad, they'll still take you then.
Right.
But we want to get you on campus for a visit. And that's ultimately what they're going to have to try to do.